Alrighty, everyone, from that clickety clack sound, it's time for TV Oblivion, the podcast. I'm your host, Pete Costanis. This is episode 42, season 2. Today's date is July 16th, 2023, and welcome to the show. It's been a while. Last time I did a podcast episode was around, I think, about June 25th. So I've been busy. I apologize for that. So here is today's lineup for this episode. From the 1950s, I have the TV variety series Broadway Open House. From the 1960s, the television sitcom Bringing Up Buddy. From the 1970s, the TV crime drama series Dan August. From the 1980s, the TV animated series Drak. From the 1990s, the TV sitcom City. And from the 2000s, the TV crime drama The Beat, and from the 2010s, the TV sitcom Running Wilde. Okay, so we have an interesting show coming up. But first, the show will go into a commercial break. And this program is brought to you by Hidden Magic Hairspray with Wanda the Witch. I think a lot of people older than me, I including myself a little bit, have a vague memory of this and this product, and of course Wanda the Witch. So sit back and enjoy, and I'll be right back with the program. Thank you, everyone.
Here comes Wanda, the wonderful witch.
Hi, I'm Wanda. Come on. I have some bewitching news for you. About hidden magic, a wizardly new hairspray from Procter & Gamble. It holds yet loves to be combed. The spray I used before was so stiff I couldn't comb. But hidden magic has an exclusive holding ingredient, Flexinol. It holds a soft, flexible way. So, if your hair gets mussed, it combs right back. Like magic. Do try it. The hairspray with Flexinol. New hidden magic. It holds and holds, yet loves to be combed. Regular or extra control. Hidden magic.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial for Hidden Magic Hairspray with Wanda the Witch. This product is no longer made. It was made during the 1960s. And what's unusual about it, it was, I don't know when it was introduced, probably in the 64, 65, the year that is. And, that was during the Bewitched era, starring Elizabeth Montgomery, but and there was ads and in the newspapers and magazines featuring Wanda the Witch, holding a can of Hidden Magic hairspray, and then later on they dropped, she was dropped, and the ingredient was Flexinol, supposed to maintain your style even after brushing, which according to what it says. It must have been good. And it was from Procter & Gamble. Okay. All right. So, like I said before in the beginning, I haven't done a podcast episode in almost a month. I've been busy doing other things like my other podcast, Vanishing Outland Stories, and also doing my Facebook page on Facebook. So right now I have time to do TV Oblivion. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, the first show I'm going to talk about is from the 1950s, Broadway Open House. All right, so this premiered on May 29th, 1950, ended August 24th, 1951. It ran for 1 hour on NBC, black and white. And what's so groundbreaking about this show, it was the first late night comedy series that after that it was The Tonight Show, and also Saturday Night Live. Yeah. So that was, like I said before, it was very groundbreaking. And the one who created this show or decided that was Sylvester Pat Weaver, Sigourney Weaver's father. The actress that is. Okay. Now this had an interesting history. It was originally planned to be hosted by a comic. His name was Don Creesh Hornsby, because I never heard of him. He's I don't know why. He was supposed to host, but he died about on the day he was supposed to host the show, which was May 22nd, 1950. And that's so they had to rush and get a host quickly. And so they, for the few weeks, they try different hosts, like, for example, Martin and Lewis, D. Martin and Jerry Lewis, Henny Youngman, Robert Alda, and of course, hosting Mondays and Wednesdays, Maury Amsterdam. And later on, it was Dagmar. She hosted the show. I'll talk a little bit about her after I played the little sample of the show. And it was performed live in front of a studio audience, just like Saturday Night Live, Back then, Jerry Lester was hosting Cavalcade of Stars for the Dumont Network. And then he hosted Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays until Maury Amsterdam left. And then he did all of them. And most of the show consisted of nightclub comedy routines. There was singing, dancing, just like Ed Sullivan, And he introduced the vocal group, the Mellow Larks, if you remember that. And let's see who else. Also, you know who else is in the show was comedian Lenny Bruce, that very controversial comedian. Yeah, it was like that. And one of Jerry Lester's running gag on the show was beanbags. I don't know why. And the sponsors of the show was Anchor Hocking and Blatz Beer. Like that. So it did okay in the ratings, not much. So, and so but it wasn't that memorable. A lot of people have forgotten about that. They've forgotten about the show. So right now, I'm going to play a sample of the show that hosts Jerry Lester. And when I come back, I'll talk about Dagmar. Talk about the actress, and talk about her real name and her life, and she was very popular in the early 1950s. Okay. So sit back and enjoy a sample of Broadway Open House. And if you can't really hear, turn up the volume a bit. If it sounds very faint, and that goes through even the commercial I played for Hidden Magic. It sounded a little weird, so I apologize for that. So if you can't hear for the rest of the theme songs or me, just turn up the volume. Okay. Thank you, everyone. And I'll be right back.
I think we're on. Who knows? What am I going to do? Get nervous at this point?
Here is the fella who charges a show. And Jerry Lester is his name.
Just call me Beanbag.
And Jerry Lester is his name.
Wow! 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 Why don't you come over here? Ladies and gentlemen, we have such a nice group here tonight.
Oh.
And guess who is playing basketball at Madison Square Garden tonight? Georgetown! Our basketball team. Oh, what? Georgetown lost? New name for the college. Tom Town. Hey, Jer! What? Do y'all feel like singing? Let's make it. Here we go. Stop, look, and listen. The man is coming your way. He's got a load of hay. The man is coming your way. He's going to make you happy today. Look out, everybody rocks with it.
Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the sample for Broadway Open House that was hosted by Jerry Lester. Let me talk about Dagmar. You know, she was an actress, model, television personality, and she became one of the most popular female stars of television in the 1950s. And she got a lot of press coverage. You know, she was featured on Life magazine, other magazines. You know, in the newspapers, she was very well known. You know, so here's her biography. She was born Virginia Ruth Jenny Lewis, and she was known as Dagmar. And she was born in Yawkey, West Virginia. I've never heard of this town. It's probably very small. You know, and then she first, actually her name is not Lewis. Her maiden name was Egnor, Egnor. Yeah. And she then she became Jenny Lewis. That was her stage name, taken from her she married her husband. His name was Angela Lewis, and he was a naval officer. And then she appeared on Broadway musicals, you know, with Olson and Johnson, and then she appeared in the Broadway comedy Burlesque, starring Bert Lahr, you know, the Cowardly Lion, Wizard of Oz. And then she was hired on Broadway Open House, and he renamed her Dagmar. And I don't know where they. I don't know where he got the name. That's unusual. And she was, you know, she wore very tight clothing. She was so curvy, but very beautiful woman, very beautiful indeed. She caused a sensation. She really did, because everyone's glued to the television looking at her. And then once Broadway Open House was canceled, she appeared on Milton Berle's Texaco Stars Theater, The Bob Hope Show, The Colgate Comedy Hour, and then she appeared in other variety shows with Frank Sinatra, Mitch Miller, and all that. And then she had hosted her own show called Dagmar's Canteen, which aired on NBC. And she sang, she danced, she did acting. And she had a sister named Jean. She did that. I don't think it lasted very long. No, you know, and she appeared on a lot of some game shows and all that. And then she divorced her husband, Angela Lewis, and then she married Danny Dayton. He was an actor. He was famous for Hank Pivnick in All in the Family. And Archie Bunker's Place, and then to band leader Dick Hines, and then, you know, but she was on a nightclub circuit. You know, she didn't appear much on television, and then she moved back to West Virginia, and then she passed away on October 9th, 2001, and she was 79 years old. So she's a very famous person back then. You know, I used to hear her name all the time, Dagmar, you know, like that. So it's kind of cool. Okay. Next up, we have from the 1960s, the television sitcom Bringing Up Buddy. And this was a one-season show. Premiered on October 10th, 1960, ended July 3rd, 1961. It's a half-hour sitcom. Ran for one season, 36 episodes, black and white on CBS. And the plot was Buddy was Richard David Flower. That's his character's name. That was played by Frank Adletter. I think that's how you say his name. His parents died in an automobile accident when he was a child, and his aunts, who were never married, their names were Violet and Iris, and they raised him. He was still living with them, and he was trying to, he worked at a place called Cooper Investments. He was an investment broker, and he was romantically involved with his secretary. He's trying to live his life. And sometimes they like to interfere. I know that feeling. So they're trying to find a nice girl for him. Or sometimes they got him in trouble, and they were lovely women, but, they were kind of wacky. But then situations led to all kinds of weird stuff like that. So the rest of the cast was Aunt Violet, that was played by Enid Markey, and Aunt Iris Flower. So Enid Markey played Violet Flower, and Aunt Iris Flower was played by Dora Mirandi. I think that's how you're gonna say her name. And the secretary that Buddy was involved with, it was Kathy Donald, played by actress Nancy Rennick. And this was produced by the same people who did Leave It a Beaver. And I think, so didn't do well in ratings, lasted one season. So that's a shame. I saw a couple episodes on YouTube. It's pretty funny. It's a good show. It's a nice to go back to a time where everything was funny and, not crazy like that. I can understand why it didn't do well, but that's okay. I love watching that. So, okay. Right now I'm going to play the introduction of Bring Up Buddy. It's kind of faint, so you have to turn up the volume to hear the theme song. When I come back, I will talk about actress Dora Mirandi. I never heard of her, so I looked up her biography. She's got an interesting life. Okay? So sit back and enjoy the opening theme, Bringing Up Buddy. Thank you.
Bringing Up Buddy. Starring Dora Mirandi as Iris, Enid Markey as Violet, and Frank Adletter as Buddy.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for Bringing Up Buddy. I will talk about actress Dora Mirandi. She played Aunt Violet. No, Aunt Iris Flower. Excuse me. I get them mixed up. She played Iris Flower on the sitcom. Here's her biography. She was born Dora Matthews. So she dropped the A from Dora to Doro. I don't know why. She appeared in a lot of. She was born. I'm sorry. I'll start in the beginning. She was born in Columbus, Kansas. Must be a very small town. Never heard of it. And on March 31st, 1892. And she was a daughter of a minister, and she worked as a music teacher. And then she later headed to New York and became an actress. And she appeared in a lot of summer stock, and she appeared in a lot of Broadway plays all that time. Lots of plays, and then she got into the movies and then in television. So, and her first real role was in the movie Our Town. That was in 1940. She was in that. Let's see, her films. Let's see, for example, she was in Our Town, The Snake Pit. She was in there. She was uncredited. Cover Up. Mr. Belvedere Rings the Bell, with Clifton Webb. The 7-Year Itch. She was the waitress at the vegetarian restaurant, and she was uncredited. I remember this. She was also in the movie The Man with the Golden Arm. That was with Frank Sinatra. She was also in The Gazebo with Glenn Ford. Kiss Me Stupid. The Russians Are Coming. The Russians Are Coming. Also in Hurry Sundown. Also in Change of Habit with Mary Tyler Moore and Elvis Presley. And also her final role was the front page, the Ben Hecht play, Charles MacArthur play. That was her final film role. She did appear on television, like, for example, the Kraft Television Theater, U.S. Steel Hour, Steve Cannon, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, The Phil Silver Show, Playhouse 90, Thriller, The Defenders, The Twilight Zone, which that was the episode with the Bard. That was also starred Burt Reynolds, which I'm going to talk about in a moment with Dan August. And her last TV role was with Jackie Gleason. And she was going to play Ralph Cramden's mother-in-law on the Honeymooners special, the 25th anniversary. But she had a stroke, and then she passed away. So that's a shame. But I remember seeing her, very talented lady, very talented indeed. So that's another TV. Bringing Up Buddy is another TV series that went to TV oblivion. Never seen again. Oh well. Okay. Next up, we're going to talk about Dan August. Now, a lot of people know this show, not because of the show, but they remember the star of the show, Burt Reynolds. And I think this is his first, I don't think it's his first primetime role. I think it was Hawk, or I think the other, because he was in Gunsmoke. And he started in Hawk in 1966, I believe. But in this series, he played, he was a police lieutenant. So this show premiered on September 23rd, 1970, ended April 8th, 1971, aired on ABC. It was a full hour, one season, 26 episodes. And he investigates homicide cases. The town was called Santa Luisa, California. It was supposed to be based on Santa Barbara. And so he played Dan August, and then the rest of the supporting cast was Norman Fell. He played Sergeant Charles Willets, as Mr. Roper. Then you have Richard Anderson as Police Chief Untermeyer. Oscar Goldman from The $6 Million Man and The Black Woman. Then you have Ned Romero. He plays Sergeant Joe Rivera. He was everywhere, and he was everywhere. Every TV series you could say, you would see. You wouldn't recognize him. You wouldn't know his name, but you'd see him. Also in the cast was Ina Hartman as Katie Grant. Also recurring roles, there was Mike Golden. He was the medical examiner, played by Barney Phillips. You might see him in a lot of TV shows. Also John LaSalle. He played the recurring role as Benjamin Wedlock. You may remember him as, I forgot his name, but he was in Dark Shadows. And he played before Barnabas Collins came. He's like a psychic or something. He would feel, weird stuff going on at Collinwood. What's great about this show is they had a lot of guest stars. A lot of famous people were in there. Like, for example, they had Martin Sheen, Dabney Coleman, Larry Hagman, John Ritter, one of his early shows. He probably was very young back then. Harrison Ford, Billy D. Williams, Mickey Rooney, David Soul, and Gary Busey. Wow. Also was Vera Miles, Gary Collins, Ricardo Montalban, Caroline Jones, Joan Van Ark, Donna Mills was there, Jan Michael Vincent, Stephen Collins, Lee Merriweather, Salminio was there, Fernando Lamas, Ellen Corby, Susan Oliver, and Diane Hyland. She played the first mother on Eight Is Enough. The show is on DVD. I haven't gotten it yet. I want to get it because it sounds fascinating. And like I said before, I'll try to get it. I'll try to buy it. It didn't. It wasn't very popular, but it became popular in reruns because of Burt Reynolds, because of when he started in the movies like Deliverance and all Smoking the Bandit, and they aired the series on the CBS late movie at 10:30 in prime time. And you know what? It was popular. It really was. I watched it. I really did. I loved it. I really did. He was great in it. He really was. Like that. And this was based on a TV movie by producer Quinn Martin called The House on Green Apple Road. And it starred Janet Leigh. And the only actor that was in the film who reprised was Ned Romero. He was in the film, and then he came over to play in Dan August. And I forgot who played Dan August's part. I think it was George Peppard. I don't know. I haven't seen the movie in a long time. Anyway, so right now I'm going to play the theme song for Dan August. When I come back, I'll talk a little bit about Burt Reynolds. Why not? Why not talk about him? He was wonderful. Okay, so sit back and enjoy the theme song for Dan August. Thank you, everyone. Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for Dan August. Right now, I'm going to talk about Burt Reynolds. What is there to talk about him? He was awesome. Awesome actor. He was the biggest star in 1970s. Well, of course, he posed in Cosmopolitan nude. But he was in a lot of good movies. He really was. On TV series. First, he starred in Gunsmoke. He also starred in the Twilight Zone episode, The Bard, which I just mentioned earlier. And also, of course, Dan August, and he played in Deliverance, White Lightning, The Longest Yard, also Semi-Tough, of course, Smoking the Bandit, Hooper, Starting Over, The Cannonball Run. I thought it was funny. What could I say? And he was born in Lansing, Michigan, February 11th, 1936. I think he played football, in college, I think. I could be wrong. So, yeah. But he played in high school as well. And then he moved to Florida. And then he got into acting like that. And then he flew to Hollywood like that. He met his first wife, Judy Carn, from Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. And they got married for 2 years, and there was all kinds of friction, bad blood, terrible. But they look so cute together like that. One of his first TV series was Riverboat, alongside actor Darren McGavin. I have the show on DVD. It's great. He didn't get along with him, with Darren McGavin, and then he quit, which is a shame. Yeah. But he walked, I've heard that Burt Reynolds had a hothead, he wasn't patient. He's like, no, I'm quitting. Goodbye. He doesn't want to do that. He made his first movie called Angel Baby. That came out in 1961. And another film called Armored Command. So that was like that. He did a couple Broadway shows, not much, but he appeared on Perry Mason, Route 66, Naked City, and also he was on Flipper, The FBI, 12 O'Clock High, and then he's given a title role, Hawk, which I talked about before. It ran about 17 episodes. I saw an episode on YouTube. It was pretty good. I liked it. Then, I mentioned all the movies like that. He started in another movie called 100 Rifles with Raquel Welch. I saw that movie a long time ago. He was good. In that. But he kept turning down roles. And then he appeared on the Merv Griffin show. And then that's what he called. Then he got so popular by that. And then he appeared on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, also Dinah Shore, which he became romantically involved with her. And then he was just famous indeed. Okay. He made his directorial debut in Gator. I saw that. It was good like that. So his best role, like his last one was for Boogie Nights. I never seen it. I got to see that, and I heard he was excellent. And he got a nomination for Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. I wish he would win. He didn't win, but I wish he did. That would have been cool. He would have been so happy like that. And then he got sick, and few roles played, and then he passed away on September 6th, 2018. He was 82 years old. It's like that. So after he got besides Dinah Shore, he got romantically involved with Sally Field. After that, and then also he married Lonnie Anderson. That didn't go well either. When it comes to women, he was, I don't know. Some guys get along, some guys didn't. That's how it is. Okay. Anyway. That's enough for Barons. Right now, we'll go to the 1980s, and I'm going to talk about Drak Pack. And this is a TV animated series. And this premiered on September 6th, 1980, ended December 20th, 1980, a couple months, from the Hanna-Barbera factory. And it aired on CBS, ran for 16 episodes, excuse me. And this was based on the classic Universal Monsters villains, like, for example, Count Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman. They were bad guys then, But in this anime series, they were good guys, and they fought evil. So the series centered on three young men, Drak Jr., Frankie, and Howler, descendants of Count Dracula, Frankenstein monster, and the Wolfman. And whatever they do, whenever there was trouble, they put their right hands together and they shout wacko, and they became the Drak Whack. That was called the Drak Whack. So it became the Drak Pack. So they transformed into a vampire, a Frankenstein monster, and a werewolf. They also had a car called the Drakster. And it flew. And most of the bad guy they fought was Dr. Dread. He was like a blue-skinned evil genius. And his evil organization was Ogre. the organization of generally rotten enterprises or endeavors, and that consisted of Toad, the Fly, Mummy Man, and Vampira. And sometimes when they needed advice, they would go to Drak's great uncle, Count Dracula himself, known to the team as the Big D. And the voices of, like, for example, Drak Jr. was Jerry Dexter. He did a lot of voice acting, and for Hanna-Barbera. Also, Frankie was William Calloway. He did the voice of Aquaman and Super Friends. Also, Howler, he did that too. Count Dracula was Alan Oppenheimer. He's still alive. Yeah, he's still alive to this day. He did that. And let's see. Also, there was Don Messick, Chuck McCann. He did the voice of Mummy Man. Also, Dr. Dredd was by Hans Conried. I think he died before he's doing that. You remember him from Uncle Tunus, the Danny Thomas show. Did the voice. I've seen the movie briefly when I was growing up. Very brief indeed, and I don't remember. But it's on YouTube, and it's on DVD. If you like to order it, help yourself. Like that. I don't know. I like to buy it. We'll see. But it looks like a fun show. It was. Okay, so right now I'm going to play the theme song for Drak Pack. When I come back, I'll talk a little bit about Hans Conried. Conried. Can't pronounce his name. I have trouble pronouncing his name. So sit back and relax to the theme song of Drak Pack.
From the monsters of the past comes a new generation dedicated to reversing the evil image of their forefathers. Under the leadership of none other than Count Dracula, known as Big D, 3 teenagers form the do-gooder group, named the Drak Pack. With special powers, they can transform into super mighty monsters and use their skills against all evildoers, especially the diabolical Dr. Dredd and his renegade rascals Toad, Fly, Mummy Man, and Vampira, a group known as Ogre, the organization of generally rotten enterprises. It's right versus wrong, good over greed, niceness against naughtiness. That's the dedication of the terrific trio, Frankie, Howler, and Drak Jr., the Drak Pack.
Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for Drak Pack. I'll talk a little bit about the actor Hans Conried. I think that's his name. He was born in Baltimore, Maryland. He was on April 15th, 1917. Baltimore, Maryland. Sorry. And he studied acting, and he worked on the radio, and then a lot. and then he started work on television. So in the early days, that is, like that. His most famous role was Uncle Tunus on Make Room for Daddy. He played Danny Thomas's uncle, and he made a lot of appearances. About 20, he did that. And let's see. And also he did the voice of Captain Hook on Peter Pan, the movie. Oh, that was great. Like that. And of course, he's famous for his role as Snidely Whiplash on the Dudley Do-Right segments, from Rocky and Bullwinkle. And he also did the voice of Wally Wallace on the Woody Woodpecker Show. He did that. Also on Hoppity Hooper as Professor Waldo P. Wigglesworth. Yeah, he was like that. So as for TV roles, he played, I remember one role he played on I Love Lucy. He played an English teacher. It was so funny. When he was trying to teach proper English to Lucy and Ethel and Ricky and Fred. Oh, it was hilarious. It was great. Other TV shows he appeared was, for example, The Ray Milan Show, The Real McCoys, Dobie Gillis, Mr. Ed, Ben Casey, Dr. Kildare, Lost in Space, Daniel Boone, The Beverly Hillbillies, The Lucy Show. I loved him on The Lucy Show. He played, what was his name? He was a music teacher, and he taught Lucy how to sing. Forgot the character's name. It was funny. I loved it. Gilligan's Island, The Monkees, Have Gun Will Travel, Love American Style, and he played on Here's Lucy Again. Also on Kolchak the Night Stalker. Also, he played on Alice. Also, Laverne and Shirley, where Laverne and Shirley went to night school, and he played a frustrated high school teacher. It didn't like Laverne at all. No. He was on Match Game, Hogan's Heroes, Donna Reed Show, Fantasy Island, too. Yeah. He was a wonderful, wonderful actor indeed. Like that. Also, one of his famous roles was the 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T. That was based on a Dr. Seuss novel. He played like a mean piano teacher. I've seen it once, a long time ago. Then he passed away on January 5th, 1982. So he was 64 years old. So he was alive when he did Drak Pack. I apologize. He was alive. We did the voicing. So, he always played stuffy people like that. But I'm sure he was a nice man. I'm sure he was like that. So, he also was in a TV show called Fractured Flickers, and he was the host. I remember that. And did that indeed like that. So, yeah, he was one of those great actors with a good voice. And, the English professor that taught the Ricardos and the Merchants was Mr. Livermore. He also played a junk dealer. So that was funny. Okay. All right. Next up, we have, what's the next show? We have the sitcom from the 1990s, City. That's the name of it, of the title, and that starred Valerie Harper, and it was a short-lived sitcom, and that aired from January 29th, 1990, ended June 8th, 1990. It was a sitcom on CBS, lasted for 13 episodes, one season. It was not that memorable. I watched it, I really did, and Valerie Harper was great. She's great in everything. I loved her, I really do. This was after she starred in The Hogan Family. And there was a lot of, she had a lot of issues with her contract and all that. It was terrible. And then it became The Hogan Family. It was Valerie first. And this was produced by her and her husband. So this is the premise of the show. Her name was Liz Gianni. She was the city manager of a city, unnamed city, which if you see the beginning of the show, it's Chicago, because I recognize it immediately. And she would deal all kinds of issues like budget cuts, corruption, political crap like that. And she would, it's kind of like the Marytown and Morse show in Rhoda back in the early 70s. And she had a daughter named Penny. She was 19 years old. I'll get to the cast in a moment. So, and it was a funny show. I liked it, but didn't do well in ratings. So, the people that were in the show were, we had Valerie Harper as Liz Gianni, in Greek we call it Yanni, like my brother. Todd Sussman as Roger Barnett. Oh, he was everywhere. Commercials, television, you name it. Also, Tyra Farrell. She's famous for her role in Boys in the Hood and Jungle Fever. A lot of shows that Spike Lee movies. She would start as Wanda Jenkins, Stephen Lee as Ken Resnick, Sam Lloyd as Lance Armstrong, Liz Torres as Anna Marie Batista. You may remember her role in Phyllis, Cloris Leachman, and also in All in the Family as Teresa. She's hilarious. Mary Jo Keenan as Gloria Elgus. You remember her from Nurses, that sitcom. James Lorenz as Victor Sloboda. Also, Valerie Harper's daughter, Penny, was played by Luann Ponce, which was Dan Ponce. I think that's his name. I think that's his, or Danny Ponce was her son in Valerie in the Hogan family. Also in the show was Shay Duffin as he was an Irish actor. He was in Leprechaun with Jennifer Aniston as Sean. Also, Andy Dick was in there. I didn't remember seeing him. He was Sam. Tony Hale was in the show. He's famous for his role in Arrested Development as Buster Booth, and also Oliver Platt. He's famous for a lot of roles. My brother was watching a movie about him yesterday with Matthew McConaughey and Sandra Bullock. I think it was that. The series, the scheduling, but it did crack the top 10, but it didn't do very well after that. And then they pulled it, and then they, let's see, so the, it didn't do well in the ratings. No, like that. So that's funny. So right now, I'm going to play the theme song to City. I'm going to tell you something interesting about the theme song. I saw this on the YouTube. Well, I saw it when it aired, but also on YouTube, and I will tell you all about it, okay? And I'll talk a little about Valerie Harper, okay? So here is the theme song to City. Here we go. Okay, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for City. That's a sitcom that starred Valerie Harper. Who didn't like Valerie Harper? She was wonderful. I loved her as Rhoda Morgenstern on the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Also in her spinoff, Rhoda. I love Rhoda. It's hilarious. And then in the 80s, she started her own sitcom, Valerie. But she was only there for about maybe couple seasons, and her character was killed off, and then it became then it retitled Valerie's Family, and then it became the Hogan Family, and then Sandy Duncan replaced her. And she also starred in a lot of movies. For example, you know what? One of her earliest roles was one of those rock and roll films from the 1950s called Rock, Rock, Rock. She was in there. I didn't see it. She was uncredited. Also Little Abner. She was uncredited. I think she was in the Broadway musical. She was in that. And then in 1970, she got cast as Rhoda Morgenstern in the Mary Tyler Moore Show, and the rest was history. She played a Jewish person. She was not Jewish. She sounded Jewish, but she's not. But she was perfect. Also, she was in the movie called Freebie and the Bean with Alan Arkin. He just passed away last week. She started a TV movie called Night Terror. I remember that. It was a TV film. She was pursued by a killer. They aired this all the time when I was in high school. or 8th grade. I used to watch it all the time. And she was great in that. Also, Chapter 2 by Neil Simon. And so it was like, she started in a lot of movies, but she was known for her roles in television. Yeah, she really was. And unfortunately, she had cancer, and she struggled. She lived. She didn't have much to live, but she did. She survived, and unfortunately, she passed away on August 30th, 2019. She was 80 years old. Yeah, that's a shame. It really was. So, but the reruns live on, and you can see her. So that's great. I miss her. I really do. Yeah, she was a wonderful actress. So happy all the time. Very talented indeed. Okay, next up, we go to the 2000s, and I'm going to talk about The Beat. It was a drama series that premiered on March 21st, 2000, ended April 25th, 2000, only a month at least. It was an hour show, aired for 13 episodes, 7 unaired, lasted one season, and it aired on the network UPN. Didn't last long. And the series was about two uniformed police officers, Mike Dorgan and Zane Marinelli, in New York. And they had to deal with all kinds of problems in their jobs, their girlfriends, whatever problems arose. You named it. That had happened. In the cast, the main cast was actor Derek Cecil. He played Mike Dorgan. He was famous for his series on Netflix, House of Cards. He was in that. Also in the cast was Mark Ruffalo. Oh, he was a great actor. He was a lot of movies, a lot of television. He played the Hulk, Incredible Hulk, in the Marvel series. Also, I think this is the girlfriends. Heather Burns. She played Beatrice Felson, and Poppy Montgomery played Elizabeth Wakalowek. You remember her from Without a Trace. And also in the cast was Tom Noonan as Howard Schmidt, and Leah Delaria as Kathy Speck. So the TV series didn't last very long. So, you know what the funny thing about the show? There was a character from Law and Order, and Richard Belzer's character, Detective John Munch, appeared on the show, which was so that's very interesting indeed. Yeah, that's kind of cool, like that. All right. So right now I'm going to play the introduction of The Beat. And when I come back, I'll talk a little bit about Mark Ruffalo. Okay. So sit back and enjoy, everyone. Thank you. Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for The Beat. I'll talk a little bit about Mark Ruffalo. Very talented guy, very wonderful actor. He was born November 22nd, 1967, in Kenosha, Wisconsin. He starred in a lot of movies indeed, like that. And so he started a lot. I can't name all of them like that. So So that's amazing. He has an amazing career. It really was. And let's see. So he had nominations for Academy Award as Best Supporting Actor for The Kids Are All Right. That was from 2010. like that. And he also starred in Foxcatcher and also Spotlight. He did that. Also, he started fine. I heard he had a brain tumor, but he recovered. He's doing okay. He's doing okay. That happened around. Let's see. When did that happen? Around. Let's see. Around 2001, 2002. So it was benign, but then they had surgery, and he had like facial paralysis. It affected his hearing. To this day, he remains deaf in his left ear, so he can't hear on his left ear. But he's doing well, thank God. But that I like him. I like him in the Incredible Hulk. He was in the Marvel movies, so like in the Avengers and all that. He's wonderful. I like him on talk shows. He's like very entertaining. Like that. Okay. Next up, we have the last show, and the last show from the 2010s. We have the sitcom Running Wild. Okay, so this premiered on September 21st, 2010, ended May 21st, 2011. It premiered on Fox at 13 episodes. What's interesting, the first 9 episodes was on Fox. The rest were aired on FX, of course. And that starred Will Arnett, that funny guy. I just look at him, I start laughing at him. I don't know why, like that. It was a sitcom. It was created by Michael Hurwitz. And Will Arnett stars as Steve Wilde. He was a bachelor, and he was an heir to an oil fortune. And he tried to regain his affection to his childhood sweetheart, Emmy. And Emmy was played by Kerry Russell from Felicity, like that. I've seen the show a couple times when it aired. It was cute. I liked it. Did do well in the ratings, So that was, what's funny? The show was not filmed in Hollywood. It was filmed in New York. So that's great. Sometimes there are a lot of shows like, they didn't do that. So Stephen Wilde was a billionaire. He was a bachelor. He had problems with depression, and he drank, and all that. And Emmy Kadubik was his high school sweetheart. She was an activist and lived in a rainforest along with her daughter Putty and her eco-terrorist boyfriend Andy Weeks. So here's the cast of characters I will read right now. So we have Will Arnett as Stephen Wilde, Kerry Russell as Emmy Kadubik, Robert Michael Morris as Mr. Lunt. We also have Mel Rodriguez as Migo Salazar, Stephania Levy Owen as Putty Kadubik, also Peter's Sefronisik, I can't pronounce his name. He was Fahad Shahum, and also David Cross is Dr. Andy Weeks. He's a comedian, so like that. Right now, I'm going to play the theme song to Running Wild. It's very short. It's like about 9 seconds. It goes, and it's over. Okay, and then when I come back, I'll talk a little bit about Will Arnett. Yeah, about his career. Okay. So just, I'll be right back. Thank you, everyone. Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for Running Wild. It was very brief. It was like, zip, it's over. Okay, now I'll talk about Will Arnett. He was born on May 4th, 1970. He was in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. He was an actor, comedian, producer. Oh, he's famous for his role in the series Arrested Development. He was hilarious in that role. And he appeared in a lot of movies, like, for example, Blades of Glory, Semi-Pro, G-Force, Teenage Ninja Mutant Ninja Turtles from 2014 and the sequel. He did voices too, like that. I mean, he's got that voice. It's kind of funny, like that. And and so he's like, so Arrested Development put him on the map. It really did, and it's a great show. It's very funny, like that. And he's still acting to this day. So God bless him. So that's fine. Okay, so I guess that's it for TV Oblivion. So I'll do a recap of what I talked about today. So here we go. From the 1950s, I talk about the TV variety series Broadway Open House. From the 1960s, the television sitcom Bringing Up Buddy. From the 1970s, the TV crime drama Dan August. From the 1980s, the TV anime series Drak. From the 1990s, the TV sitcom City. From 2000s, the TV crime drama The Beat. And also from the 2010s, the TV sitcom Running Wilde. Ugh. Well, that was fun. It really was. Okay, so this podcast will be published later on today. It'll be available wherever podcasts are. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. It'll also be published on my social media account. It will be on Facebook and Twitter. Also, it'll be on which is my Facebook page, TV Oblivion, the podcast. Also, my group, if you can find it. Like that. Also, on my YouTube channel, TV Oblivion, the podcast. You can find it there. It'll be ready soon. So just be patient. Okay. So I'll have another episode. I don't know when. Maybe next weekend, time permitting. We'll see. We'll see about that. So anyway, I had a good time talking. I'm glad you listened. And so this is Pico Stanis, your host for TV Oblivion, the podcast. Thank you for joining me. I had a wonderful time. Here's bye-bye for me. And here is the ending theme song of this podcast, the Pick and Pluck song. So take care, everyone. So long.